All right, something that was mentioned earlier that is somewhat related, although it is a separate program, is Social Security. As we all know, there are tens of thousands of people in Maine who rely heavily on Social Security. The trustees of the system say that if nothing is done, in a decade, it will not be able to meet its obligations, and there will be a spending or a cut in Social Security of 18 to 20%, something like that, if nothing is done. So the options are raising revenues for Social Security, cutting benefits, or raising the retirement age. David Costello, how would you address the Social Security problem, and give me specifics, please?
Well, we need to raise more revenue. As I said earlier, previously, that the easiest thing to do is to eliminate the payroll tax cap. It's set at $168,000 now, so everyone who earns more than that is taxed in its entirety. So lower income earners are taxed higher than higher income earners. If we eliminate that cap, then we'll raise significant revenue. I also believe that we should also conceivably establish a sovereign wealth fund where we take supplemental money, not money that's dedicated to Social Security, but money that goes into general revenues. We establish a sovereign wealth fund like the pension programs in many state governments, and put much of that money into equities as well as the market, the bond market as well as equities. I think we can raise some revenue there.
Jason Cherry,
Yep.
How would you deal with the Social Security crisis?
I also would look at raising the payroll taxes from 168, but also offering a privatized opportunities for Social Security as well. I know that Senator King had worked with Senator Cassidy on a privatization. I think the problem is that, after the bank crisis, people don't trust financial centers because, they're not held accountable. I was personally had to investigate a lot of that mortgage crisis, and we need to have that privatization. The annuities market, the above inflation rate is actually attainable for many people to put their money into for Social Security. We just need to make sure that those people that lie to us about retirement go to jail.
Moving on, Senator King, addressing the Social Security issue.
Well, number one, the key is that you're right. There's a serious problem that's coming right at us. It's coming down the track in 9 years. We're talking about mandatory cuts under the law. That can't be allowed to happen. So there are all kinds of alternatives. The taxes that we've been talking about. I worked with a group of about a dozen bipartisan senators. We talked about this for 6 months, didn't come to any final conclusions. But the one idea that was mentioned, and I don't like to call it privatization because I don't think that's what it is the creation of a true trust fund for Social Security, which it's never had, that can then be invested just like the Maine State Pension Program, and that income can supplement the value of Social Security. That can do about 70% of the deficit and get us 40 or 50 years of solvency. I think that's what we need to talk about. There's talk about raising the retirement age, although in that discussion it was phased in over something like 35 years. Nobody who's currently facing retirement would even have to consider that. But altogether, we've got to face this problem as a whole.
All right.
It's a very difficult problem.
Kouzounas, same question, Social Security.
Social Security and Medicare were promised to the people when they paid in. It should always be there. The age should not be touched. I know Senator King has talked about upping the retirement age to 70. People today have the ability, if they want to, waiting till 70 to get Social Security, which of course you get a better monthly income if you did wait. A couple of issues. I do think that we should raise the wage base past 168,000. To what extent, I'm not sure, but definitely raising it would help a lot. I think that we should take a look at COLA. I know that was one of the bills that Senator King signed on to, that lowered COLA from 3% that was going on for the last 4 years, so that's 12%. Remember, inflation was up 20% to now 2.5%. So it still hasn't kept up with inflation. And that is an issue with Social Security. Right now, people today are not getting enough Social Security to equal the inflation that's happening. We should also increase workforce. Maine is down by 4% on the workforce after COVID. And so if we increase workforce, that would help a lot too. But we need to take a look at the whole thing because it's a serious issue. We're promised this money and it should be there for us when we retire.